Hello, welcome to Alyssa Jean's Reviews. My name is Alyssa, and this is my review for Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 1, titled The Next Generation, because of course it is. What else would it be titled? So, a brief spoiler warning. Of course, this should be obvious to you, but you should not be watching this video if you have not seen up to the end of Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 1. See, I stumble over getting those words out because they're so pointless. Anyways, so this is not going to be a thorough scene-by-scene breakdown as I've done in the past. This is just me kind of spewing out my thoughts, and then I'll give a rating out of 10 at the end. In the future, maybe I will do more thorough breakdowns, which would have to come out later because this one I'm trying to get out before I get to work so I can get it up on the internet at a decent time in the day. So, anyway, Star Trek Picard Season 3, the much-anticipated return of the Next Generation crew, or not anticipated, depending on who you ask. A lot of us had a very sour taste in our mouth from Picard Season 2. Now, this premiere is good. It is effective. It did a great job of introducing the story, getting us back into the world, showing us where at least some of the characters are and how they fit in. And so it was good. It did a good job. I don't have any complaints. Well, I do have one complaint about how it was aired, which I'll get into in a second. But I don't have a complaint about the episode itself, or maybe some nitpicks, but nothing huge. But that was also the case of the previous two seasons as well, and it kind of went downhill, especially Season 2. I thought the Season 2 premiere was fine, but then it just completely went downhill. However, I'm a little more optimistic. This episode did give me a little more optimism than I had coming into it. And the reason I have more optimism is, well, it has a different showrunner, Terry Matalas, and it has a very different feel than the first two seasons. They're very clearly going for that cinematic feel. They're trying to do a movie-type feel, and I'm on board with it. I like it. In fact, I find myself being jealous of the people who saw the premiere at the Chinese Theater in L.A. I saw a video of Sean Ferrick and Jesse Gender was there. And they premiered the first two episodes on the big screen, and I found myself being jealous of that. I don't have to even be at the big premiere with all the bigwigs. I just would love to have seen the first two episodes together in the theater, because it did feel very cinematic. They were definitely going for that feel. Even when the Titan was leaving Space Dock, it was like dun 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 dun. It was very, very reminiscent of the films, and it opened up with sometime in the 25th century, which I guess is reminiscent of what they did at the beginning of Wrath of Khan. So they're definitely going for that, and it made me feel like I wish I was watching this at a movie theater. And here's where my minor complaint comes in about how they aired it. I feel that I just watched the first half of the premiere, and so all the bigwigs and whoever's invited to the premiere in LA got to see the first two episodes together, and I think that's how it should have aired, honestly, because I do get the sense that at the end of the second episode, that is when the story really begins. They leave this on a cliffhanger, but obviously we know from the trailers they're going to get out of that. They're going to revive Dr. Crusher. Then they're going to go on to the next phase of their adventure, which presumably in episode 3 will start bringing in Worf and Geordi and Deanna and all that stuff. So it very much feels to me that, without even having seen episode 2 yet, that it probably goes hand in hand with episode 1 as one unit. So they should have aired them together, is my feeling. Whether or not I get to go to a movie theater and see it, it should have aired it together. Star Trek doesn't do that very often, but as I recall, they did that with Discovery in its first season, so it's not unprecedented. So that would be my complaint. I feel like I've just watched half of the premiere. Like, I feel like that we should have gotten episode 2 this week as well. But, that's not a complaint with the episode itself. Now, with the episode itself, as I said, it was a very effective way of getting us back in the world. I love that we open with Dr. Crusher, who we have not seen since Nemesis. and we jump right into the action. We see the mysterious bad guys from the trailer. That she's being chased. There's nothing innovative about this intro, but it's effective. Pulls us in. We're like, what is Dr. Crusher up to? What is happening? And why has she not contacted anyone from the Enterprise D in 20 years? Not just Picard. So you can't just say, oh, she has harsh feelings about Picard and the relationship, because she hasn't contacted anyone. So why not? So that's setting up a mystery there. So right away I feel drawn in to the world. We had to get our Laris scene out of the way in the beginning. So long, Laris, get out of here. That was a disaster, that whole thing. Then Picard hooks up with Riker, goes on to the Titan A. Now, I had mentioned in my preview video, I made a joke about how 7 of 9 got promoted to first officer. I mean, they must have started her off as lieutenant or something because of her experience on Voyager. I don't know. And it's unclear how much time has passed. It doesn't seem like a ton of time has passed. Obviously some time has passed, but yeah, I don't know. She says that he and Janeway convinced her to get in the Starfleet. So Janeway's still kicking around post-Prodigy. They can't really, go too much into what she's doing because you don't want to spoil what happened to Prodigy, because this is further along in the timeline. But she's still kicking around somewhere, and apparently she also talked Seven into joining Starfleet, and now she's a first officer. But I don't know. I love the feel of these scenes. It does feel very cinematic. A lot of it we already saw on the trailer, but I did enjoy seeing it in context. Then we get the introduction of Captain Shaw, who I said in the preview is going to die immediately, but apparently not, because Jessie Gender kind of did spoil that a little bit in her spoiler-free review. She's seen the first 6 episodes, so she did a spoiler-free review of the first 6 episodes, but it did spoil the fact that dude is still around in episode 6, so I was wrong about him dying immediately. I do wonder what kind of role he's going to play. He's very much Jellicoe 2.0. I mean, he's different than Jellicoe, but he's also a dick and is not afraid to be a dick. He's not passive-aggressive at all. He's just aggressive. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I wasn't a fan of Jellicoe, but I'll be curious to see how he plays a role in this show. If he just ends up being a flat-out adversary, like, I'm going to chase you down, Picard, you're breaking rules, and I don't know, that's going to be kind of boring. I hope there's Jessie Gender did mention in her review that she thought his story arc was interesting, so hopefully it's not just that. So not that I always agree with everything Jessie Gender says, but hopefully it's not just, he's just the adversarial captain in this case. Hopefully there's more to it than that. I really did think he was just going to be killed off immediately, but that doesn't appear to be the case. Then, I'm going to sum this up very, very quickly because I don't have a lot of time. So I'm yada-yadaing over a bunch. And I'll also get to the Raffi subplot in a second. But they find Dr. Crusher's ship. She is injured. She has been put in stasis probably to, keep her alive because she's been severely injured. And, until he can get her help, he being her son. So this dude appeared in the trailers, and I completely forgot to talk about him in the preview video that I did last week. I forgot all about him, but there's a lot of crazy theories out there about who he is. But the most common theory out there was that he is, in fact, the son of Dr. Crusher and Jean-Luc Picard. That does seem to be what they're implying. Now, they didn't flat out say that Picard is the father, but, Picard gave a little look when he found out that he was her son, so he at least suspects that he could be. So it seems like that's where they're going with this. And you know what? Fine, okay. I mean, it's not my favorite. It's just kind of a cliche. We're doing the Star Trek 2 thing here. I don't know. I was kind of... When I saw this dude in the trailer and I heard the theories, I was like, yeah, I hope that's not what it is. But, of course, that's probably where they're going with it. Whatever, I guess. As long as they don't really fall into the cliche and he doesn't have a he develops a bond with Picard because they have one intimate conversation, and then he dies, and then Picard goes, "You Klingon bastard, you kill my son, even though I only ever had one conversation with him in my whole life." Like, it still bothers me to this day. But as long as they can avoid falling into those tropes, but I don't love that they seem to be going in this direction. Now, again, they haven't said that he's Picard's son, but he's at least Beverly's son, so he probably is. So, not my favorite, but we will see where they're going with this. And then we end with that cliffhanger, as I said, and this is where I really think we should have just got the 2 episodes together. Now we get some interesting stuff with Raffi. I am very intrigued. See, this is why the episode was effective, is drawing me in, because I am very intrigued. She seems to be some sort of covert Starfleet operative of some sort. She is communicating with some secret contact who seems to be communicating through a computer, but is not a computer, I assume. And so I was very glad that they didn't go into the Raffi has had a relapse and she's doing drugs again, which is, they kind of made you believe at the beginning that is what they were doing. And I was like, really? Now, I will say up front, I am not one of those people. There's been a lot of people, I think my brother was one of them too, who don't believe that they should have drug abuse in the 25th century because, we have the Utopian Federation, et cetera, et cetera. Drug use was said to be just completely eliminated. I don't know. On other planets, they're still going to have seedy underbellies like we see on this other planet. They're still going to have people doing drugs. People from Earth could go to one of those other planets and get addicted to drugs. I don't buy that drug use would be eradicated in the entire galaxy, and so people from Earth could still fall into that. I never had a problem with Raffi having a drug addiction problem. I'm probably in the minority, but that never bothered me at all. However, I was really annoyed when they made it look like that she had relapsed, and I totally bought it. They totally fooled me, and I was like, really? That's what they're doing? So I was grateful when they revealed that was just an act. She's working for Starfleet. That's good. But I had mixed feelings, actually, because part of me was just irritated that they did that misdirect, like, fuck you, but also like, whew, okay, that's not what they're doing. So Raffi is tracking down something called the Red Lady. She realized it was the statue, and then she realized that there was a terrorist attack about to happen. She could not save them in time. And did anyone notice that weapon? Like, it sucked down the building into the ground, and then a hole opened up in the sky, and the building came through in the sky. So it's some sort of portal that it fell through. Very interesting. So obviously this has got to be tied into our main plot, and whoever's chasing Dr. Crusher, who we assume is Amanda Plummer, is chasing Dr. Crusher, and we don't know why yet. It's all a mystery. So obviously this is all tied in together, and I am very intrigued. I am into the story. I want to know what's going to happen. So therefore, it is a very effective premiere. Now, does it continue on? Do I continue to be invested in the story up through episode 10? That's another story. But I am drawn into the premiere. I want to know what's going to happen. But again, I will say, I think they should have the first 2 episodes premiere together. But aside from that, it was a good premiere. So let me go ahead and wrap this up by giving my rating out of 10. So 1 would be the lowest possible score, 10 would be the highest possible score. My rating out of 10 for Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 1 is a 9. Very effective premiere. Now, I reserve the right to retroactively reduce it if the season goes on to suck. I believe last year my brother might have given episode 1 a 9 of season 2, and then was like later on it was like, it's a 1! They're all 1s! Everything is a 1! So I reserve the right to do that, but for now, this is a 9. I still wish that they had premiered it together with episode 2, because I feel like we got the first half, but I'm a broken record saying that. Just putting this as a premiere, getting us into the world, I'll give it a 9. I'm really intrigued to see where they go next. So speaking of that, I will see you next week when I review episode 2. But I could see you even sooner than that if you come on to my channel, 4 o'clock West Coast time this Saturday, February 18th. I will be doing my live stream where I'll just drink some wine and I'll probably talk more about Picard, I'm sure. I will probably talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which I have seen by then, and I have a couple other things I want to talk about with you guys. So come check that out. Please subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you very soon.